Hello everyone, Rich here, back for another From the Depths sinking ship video, and this is the sinking, or destruction, whichever, of the HMHS Britannic. Now this is the rebuild version of my, well basically my 2018 version of this ship, along with Titanic and Olympic, and I've already done a sinking of it in From the Depths, but that was a recreation of the actual sinking. So I thought the thing would be to do today would be to sink it using shells, torpedoes or whatever, as people request me to do. So quick look around the ship nonetheless. So it's a fairly accurate representation of said ship, and yeah, don't look too bad, do it. So done all the looking around it, and now it's time to blow it up. So I've got the usual Emma Jane over in the distance, and now we're going to fire some shells at it and see what happens. Although we pretty much know what's going to happen. It's going to sink or blow up, whichever. So I'll start right there. And there's no guarantee this is going to be a full video, because From the Depths is a very unstable program. But the first shell hit quite nicely, and it's gone in the side, and now the ship is leaning quite badly. Continuing to lean. That's quite a nasty hole in that it must have done. It's yeah, right on the waterline. I don't look too bad, do it? So that's that bit. So I aim a bit further forward and have another go. And the seagulls are annoying. God, it looked like we had a fire inside there then. Okay, so we've got the water is up to the green line, or the green stripes, so that shows you how far down she's gone. So where would we aim a bit further back now, I suppose? So aim about there. Ooh, double shot. Massive lag spike. And the ship is relatively stable still, so I think she's actually starting to righten herself up. Yeah, she's more level now. She's no longer listing, but the drop in the front is bad nonetheless. The propellers turning as well. Just pop over to them. Yeah, propellers are still turning, and yeah, the water bug is still a bit of an issue. So that's 3 shots, I think. So got to aim somewhere else. So where do we aim now? Have any shells gone through the other side yet? Yeah, one has. So where do we aim? Let's aim at the front again, because I think there's some side compartments which have not been hit yet. And yeah, that's brought her down a bit further. Okay, nose is now starting to dip a little bit. Nope, starting to come back up again. Okay, so that's not really done us any favours. Okay, let's move further back a bit then. Let's aim roughly in that same hole as before. Maybe that will bring the ship down a bit more. So it's the not knowing how many compartments there are, that's the thing. And yeah, it's quite a resilient boat, this one. Okay, let's see where that shell went. And yeah, she's right on the waterline there. So yeah, there's quite a few. This one's not flooded. This one should be, because it's open to the elements, and the forepeak's not flooded, although it is this side. Okay, so we need to aim a bit further back now. Let's go and sort of readjust our tactics. We need to aim sort of in this area. So aim about here. So the water's just on the line there. That's a massive lag spike now. Okay, that's now bringing her down. She's now starting to tip down a bit more. Okay, the water is nearly up to the forecastle, but still she's being quite resilient and stubborn. Yeah, it's much easier sinking this thing with a normal controller. You know, you can just sink everything at once, but with shells, torpedoes and all that guff, you cannot do it. Okay, let's try and aim at the forepeak again, because there's a compartment in there which needs sorting out. And that's just blown a hole in the forecastle. Okay, so now the water is still bobbing up and down in the bow area. So the water is up to the yellow line. I know the ship didn't have a yellow line in real life, but you know, this is my creation, so bollocks to anyone. So the water is up to the said imaginary yellow line. And that was a shell number. More shells going off. Okie dokie. Alright, let's have another think. Okay, there are compartments which need to be sorted out. So these are all flooded. But there are compartments, I know, which are up higher. But then I can't see there's many of those because the ones are all broken open. Like that one. So if we need to aim a bit further along now, so we go a bit further along, say to about here. Try and get 4 compartments in one hit. So we go quite a long way along the side now. Huge lag spike there, I'm probably a bit too close. Has that done anything? Apart from nearly breaking the ship in two, it's not really done very much. So yeah, it's quite a large hole in the side there. Now I think I aimed a bit too high with that one. But oh, hang on, there's water moving up and down. What's going on? No, she's still not moving. Right, need to reassess our tactics here. So the water is flooding this area. So you can see the water line is in this area, but it's just not doing enough. So we aim at this corner here. Okay, now she's going to tip. The water's now up to the forecastle and now flooding the forecastle and on the well deck. So you've got one of the cranes is underwater. That gives you an idea of how horrific this is. Now she's tipping quite a lot to one side. And looks quite bad. Oh, turn the wrong hat off. Yeah, it looks quite bad now. Okay, so now we've got a list still, but the forecastle is under. One of the cranes is under. Big deal, I know, but it's a thing nonetheless. So let's have another look inside and see what he's doing. So you got bits flaking off. It's just horrific, isn't it? There's one mine sunk this ship, and I can't even sink it with 5 billion shells. So there's compartments in the bow still which are not damaged. This is what's annoying about this game. Physics don't exist, so we aim right there. It's quite low in the water, so it may not hit. Alright, that's done it. Now she comes down a bit more. It's taking out the mast as well, so that's going to collapse. This looks weird. So how far are we up now? So the water is just lapping the end of the forecastle. So I think I need to go down and have another look at that. So that one's damaged. The main belly of the compartment is. So the main belly of the compartment is not damaged. There's two compartments. One compartment really is not damaged at all. So I'm going to aim again, and if it doesn't hit this time, we'll just move along because it's going to take forever otherwise. And I think that was a direct hit. Or was it? It's a direct hit of something. It's a subtle hit then. So the water is. No, the ship is not going to move at all, I don't think. Is she moving gradually? One of the oh no, the vent's coming back up again. Okay, I thought one of the vents had gone under, sort of giving the illusion she was sinking down, but the vent has come back up again. Okie dokie. Right, so this vent our frustration on something else. Got several compartments. There's all sorts of flooded ones around here. That's a dry one. And that's a flooded one. So let's try and aim at this compartment then, because this is a dry compartment. I don't think we're going to get much success, but loads of lag. Actually, that has done something. Okay, so the bow's completely under now. And the ship is starting to right itself. So you can tell the lag's happening because the mast has not collapsed yet. Usually that's fairly instant. So yeah, the ship is sort of settled again, but she's more level this time, so yeah, if we go up to the stern, see how much of the water is, or how much of the stern is out of the water, so yeah, she's not cleared the water yet, so you won't be able to get anything underneath the ship. And there goes the mast now. The mast is now collapsed. Okay, so let's move along a bit more. There's loads still to do. Can't imagine this is going to take a hell of a long time to do. There's just a labyrinth of bloody compartments here. It's ridiculous. And the water sound is annoying as well. So we've got a big compartment here. Okay, this is sort of engine room department now. So we're going to aim behind now the cross. Okay, so that has damaged the ship. Fire again. Fire one more. Now the ship is starting to move. You can just see the bow slowly moving. And the water is just entering the bridge. So if we now look inside the bridge, the water is going to make your feet a bit wet. And the ship is moving slightly, which doesn't help. It's moving forward a bit. It's quite weird this is. So you look out, you just see nothing but water and bits flying up and down. And now the ship is moving a bit more. Let's see, the ship is starting to break apart a bit. There's the bits that are sort of not attached to anything are starting to break loose, but the ship is bobbing a bit as well. So if we move it back a bit, there's the gantries. Look down the staircase, and there is just water down there. So this is weird as hell. This is. Yeah, let's have another go. Let's try and aim at something else. I don't really know what to do, what to suggest, but there's loads of compartments. There's a compartment here, for God's sake. 2 compartments. The upper side of the ship, which are not damaged, so I'm going to have to try and aim at these. I don't really want to aim at that area because it's right in bridge zone. So an explosion right under the bridge. So now the bridge goes under. There's loads of like coal basically bouncing up and down. Anyway, that's sort of a third of the ship underwater. It's just going to take forever to do this. I haven't got torpedoes anymore because they just crashed the game. So, running out of ideas. So is the ship still moving or is it sort of bobbing again? No, it's just bobbing. Okay, so what do I do? There's still areas which are not flooded properly, like this one. Or is it? This is the physics of this game are really random, so I think what I do, I just say sod it and aim anywhere, so I'm going to aim towards the stern. Because we're not going to get very far with this today. That didn't do nothing. Let's have a look at the other side actually, because I've been aiming endless shots at it. It's become rather hollow, as you can tell. Right. I don't think I can get very far with this. It's just taking forever. Ships should not take this amount of punishment and still laugh at me. So we've got loads of compartments. So you've got a compartment here which is not flooded and not flooded, even though they're open, like there's bits broken in. So if we aim here, then it should be the demise of it. In theory. Oh, that's done something. Okay, now she's starting to tip down sternwise. I'm bored of this already. Yes, it's starting to get a bit frustrating. At least we've got a bit of a list. And she's still moving, she's still tipping over, so at least there's something. So she's crippled. And stuff exploding still. So where do we aim next? Obviously we move along a bit. So that one's cracked open. And this one isn't. But there's water in here. Okay, so we move along the side. So yeah, there's a few compartments here which need doing, so if I aim there for a couple of shots and hopefully that will do the damage. Fire one more. Not doing a lot, is it? But at least she's starting down again. Here comes some more. Well, we're getting there. And the MJ is now even further away. The recoil of those guns is a bit extreme. So is she on the seabed? No, she's nowhere near the seabed. So, I'm saying that there's not a lot left of the ship. So what's on the seabed now? Is there any wreckage? Can't see none. Okay, so we've got a very knackered ship that's just refusing to sink. There's aim midships. And just fire anything at it, because it's just to take forever otherwise. It's just bombard it with shells. And I don't know if that actually done anything, just apart from making a big hole in it. A bit further forward. That's just blown up where the grand staircase should be. Yeah, nothing much is going to happen here. I think I might have to end this soon because I'm going to run out of hard drive space before I actually sink this thing. But still looks good from that side, doesn't it? I mean, it's still a ship in peril. From the other side, she should be in fucking distress. Yeah, it's not going to end too well, this one. There's holes in the structure all over the place, but it's just not doing nothing. Let's aim a bit further back then. Let's try and aim propeller wise. See if that brings her down. Okay, that's done something. She's now tipping slightly. No, it was a false alarm. Come some more shells. And some more. And still not a lot happening anymore. Yep, some more shells coming in. Can't be much left of that stern section now. We've just bombarded it with anything and everything. And a bit of a list, but still not a lot. So this ship is a pain in the ass. Just endless compartments in this ship. I mean, it's not designed very well for from the depths. This is just sort of something I put in for the purpose of sinking it manually, but sinking it with torpedoes and shit is just impossible. So aim at that compartment bridge. When the shells eventually hit, that may do some damage. I'm getting very bored of this. And no, not a lot. what's happened. And still no. Last resort, death rate. Go inside and just open all the compartments by hand. Let's go down to the front end. I know there's some areas which are not completely flooded. Down to here. Just open up everything, get on board. See, opening them up by hand would seem to do the trick. Or has it? It's not really doing anything. Okay, that didn't do nothing. Okay, so I've got this compartment here which is not flooded. Now it is, and now the ship, see, now the ship is moving again. See, now we've got movement. See, it's just the awkward compartments. I mean, if I'm going to do this again, I think I'll empty the ship out of compartments and do with the Ile-de-France, just put sort of a six-way ice cube tray sort of design. Rather than just have a headache like this. I had this problem last time when I sank the last Britannic. You know, the old version, because I had to torpedo it to death. So there's loads of damaged compartments, but are they actually flooded? It's very difficult to tell. Well, that was obviously knackered. As is that one. As is that one. As is that one. As is that one. But the last two, or one, is not flooded. So that one's flooded now. So now the ship should sink a bit more. But it's not. This is a real pain in the ass. I think I'm going to give up here. I think we'll call it a day because we're not achieving anything. And this one's flooded. The idea would be just get on board and try and turn off all the pumps. I think all the ones that are red are flooded, aren't they? I would say it's not going to achieve very much. As you slowly sink in, it's just going to take forever to try and achieve what I'm trying to achieve. So I think we'll leave it at that. We've got a partially sunk Britannic. I mean, she ain't going to recover from that, but look at the damage. I mean, I did a video of this thing sinking a few months back, and it sank. Whereas this one is obliterated, and it's, I don't know. I haven't changed anything, unless from the depths I've changed the buoyancy settings again. We've had a couple of updates since the last time I've done this, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm going to call it a day there. So I failed in my mission, but we got part of the way there. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. So this is Rich signing off, logging off, disappearing, and Britannic is flaking herself to death, or flaking into pieces, and we'll call it a day. So yeah, bye for now.